be his first ever leading nomination. He, of course, won Best Supporting Actor for his role as Anton Chigurh in No Country for Old Men. That's just an awesome performance that was, and a lovely speech he gave as well. What do I think of Bardem's chances? I'm not sure this film has been seen enough. Obviously, Oscar voters see every film, but this is not going to be a film that's really fresh in their minds, and I think it's a bit. I just can't really see him getting awarded there. James Franco for 127 hours. James Franco is co-hosting the Oscars, and I just can't imagine a host picking up the award for Best Actor. That just seems like a really obscure deal. I mean, he would have to nip in. He's being in character, he's doing these jokes and moves, then suddenly he's got this Best Actor, and it's like that just seems really obscure to me. He's very good in the film. I can't see him winning. Jesse Eisenberg, The Social Network, is probably the second favourite to win this award. Now, a lot of people, there's an argument for Social Network. I've heard people say the acting's not good. People are just acting, as themselves. And I think there is a certain amount of truth in that. But what I would say, that is just brilliant casting. You've got like Charlie Sheen, 2.5 Men, phenomenal casting. You've got a guy basically playing himself, and he does it very well. Social Network took actors who had elements of that character in them. You've got my names today. Andrew Garfield as this kind of very fresh-faced, very nice, a little bit nerdy but very lovable kind of character in the supporting role. And in real life, I've seen him in interviews, and I can't say real life because interviews don't portray an actor for who they truly are, but certainly from interviews he just seems to be this very kind of nice and jovial kind of bloke, and and they knew he would play that role, and he did. Similarly, Jesse Eisenberg, he's this kind of he's a little bit moody, and he seems like the kind of person who would spend hours in front of a computer, which is a terrible thing to say, because he's probably very outgoing, really. But what I really mean is that he's that kind of, he's got that kind of brooding, kind of look about him, and that sort of moodiness, and and then Justin Timberlake, who is, Justin Timberlake walks into a room, heads turn. There's, you can say what you like about the guy. I'm not the biggest fan of his music. I think he's good in this film. When he walks into a room, heads turn. He's got this charisma, and he does make you think when he talks to you that you are the only person in the world. He's got that real kind of flavour about him, just as he does in the film. He's brilliantly cast as the Napstar guy who comes in, and Eisenberg's like in love with him, and not literally, but not that there's anything wrong with that. He sort of looks at this guy, and he wants this. He just carries himself as this very successful, charming, let's have fun kind of character. So the film was brilliantly cast, and I think they were good performances. Playing yourself's not easy, and these guys played maybe an extension of their real life personalities, and they did that really well. As for Jesse Eisenberg's chance of winning an Oscar, first time nominees don't usually win Oscars. I think he'll be rewarded another time. I think Colin Firth, nominated last year for A Single Man. A lot of people thought he'd get the best performance last year. He's good in this film. I wouldn't say it was the best performance of the year. He's very good. He's very convincing as the King George V. Am I getting that right? Who has this speech impediment. I think he's got that. I think he's got it in the bag, really. Yeah, I think it's going to be Colin Firth's year. So, Best Supporting Actor, Christian Bale, deserved winner. I think will be the winner. Geoffrey Rush is also fantastic in The King's Speech, but he's won before. Christian Bale, he's kind of, in the past you've gone, oh, that's a great performance, but not really been noticed. And this, I could be wrong, is this his first nomination? Because I did say earlier, first-time nominees don't usually win, but Christian Bale doesn't feel like a first-time nominee. Oscars do like actors. They do love method actors. They love people who go to extremes for their roles. Charlize Theron, Monster. Robert De Niro, Raging Bull. Daniel Day-Lewis, There Will Be Blood. And just, loads of, if you lose weight or gain weight or, just anything like that, the Oscar just seems to go gaga for those kind of performances. And I think they'll recognise Christian Bale, who's and say what you like about the man's acting, his commitment to roles is just quite simply staggering. He lost a third of his body weight for The Machinist, so I'm surprised the Oscars didn't go nuts for that, actually. They love that kind of thing. He lived on a diet of apples and tuna. I can't imagine that. Partly because I'm a vegetarian, so I wouldn't eat tuna, but that's not the point. I can't imagine living on that many calories for months on end. I feel hungry if I've had half my daily intake. I'm really hungry. I can't sleep and everything like that. So just incredible dedication. And then for the fighter, similarly, he lost his weight and gained it, and trained like a lunatic. He's just he does become the characters. A lot of people think he's very gimmicky in the way he does it. He lacks the heart. He just does preparation. He lacks the heart. I'm not sure that's true. I think when on form, he's a really, really top actor, and I would like to see him win the Oscar. I think he's brilliant in The Fighter. Best Supporting Actress. I was a bit disheartened to see Hailee Steinfeld in the Supporting Actress category. Man, I can see why they've done it. They've looked at the lead actress and thought, Natalie Portman's got this in the bag. And it's a very, very tough category, and they've gone Best Supporting Actress. But it's just such a con, It's not a supporting performance. I don't know how anyone can classify that as a supporting performance. She drives the film. It's about her. The ending's about her. The beginning's about her. It's her journey in many ways. I don't see how this is a supporting performance, which is, I'm not saying it's a bad performance. It's a brilliant performance, especially for a 14-year-old. It's absolutely stunning. But it's not a supporting performance. She's in completely the wrong category, and I hate the way that these films get away with doing this. It's not the Coens' fault, but it'll be the people behind the Coens supporting this. So we also have Amy Adams for The Fighter. Amy Adams, it's nothing remarkable. I think Melissa Leo, I was a bit annoyed to see them both nominated, because that can usually damage one of the contenders when you've got two actresses nominated. I remember The Godfather Part 2 had The Godfather had 3 people nominated for Best Supporting Actor, and you're thinking, well, how's that going to work? And Al Pacino was probably really affected that year because of that. But Melissa Leo, for me, this kind of dominating, fragile mum, I think she was just phenomenal in that film, and I really hope she gets the Oscar. Okay, so we're going to move on now and look at some news. So I'm just going to do a bit of searching. I've written some news pieces this week, but I'm just going to see things of interest, and we'll see what's going on in the world of film. And in fact, while I'm doing that, how about a great little theme here from Bernard Herrmann? I'll be back soon. Welcome back. We are here. I'm just going to go through some news before we wrap this week's up. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. So we have some interesting news here. Christian Bale. We've been talking about him earlier, his dedication, and speak of the devil, because he's about to reunite apparently with director Brad Anderson and writer Scott Kazar, who all collaborated together on The Machinist. Of course, we've talked about Bale's preparation for that film. He looked rather revolting, has to be said. Lost a third of his natural body weight. So these guys could all be working together in the film Concrete Island, and I'm going to get a quote here from Anderson and how he describes his film. Quote, "The best way to describe it is like an urban Robinson Crusoe story. A guy crashes a car into a highway interchange and is marooned in this weedy lot, injured, and can't escape, and he's basically trying to survive in the middle of the big urban metropolis. It's sort of a crazy, cool, Ballard-esque story, but Christian's on board to do that, when we can fit into his schedule, of course." Well, this sounds very promising. I'm a big fan of these kind of minimalistic films, sort of only set really in like one location. I thought Buried was one of my favourite films of last year. That was just set in a coffin, 127 hours, just set in that one. Had the flashbacks, of course, far too many flashbacks. In fact, I think it was trying to break the world record, where the character's stuck in between a rock and a hard place, so to speak. And these films, what makes them good is, if the lead actor is on form, you have this extended amount of time with the protagonist, and you get to really know the character and really root for them, so that by the time the film ends, you really have cared and you've gone on this kind of journey with them. And this sounds really promising, actually. It's based on a novel by J.G. Ballard, and apparently takes a really strong approach to the character's psychological condition when faced in this kind of really intense scenario. So I'm really looking forward to this, and I hope it comes to fruition. Okay, so we're going to look for some scouring through some more news.